News 12, Long Island.
Welcome back to News 12 Long Island. I'm Judy Martin.
Hello again, I'm Scott Feldman. It's being called Long Island's hope, but would it help or hurt us?
Today, Long Islanders sounding off on the Lighthouse Project. News 12 Long Island's Jackie Lucas in Hempstead right now. Well, just a few days after 9/11, a series of terror raids were carried out in Queens. News 12 has now learned that the individuals being investigated are believed to have strong terrorist links. Jill Wagner joining us now with more on this developing story. Hello and welcome to Long Island Talks, the show that lets you weigh in on the big stories of the day. I'm Judy Martin. Lee Tyrell is off tonight. A new report by one of the most prominent civil rights organizations in the country puts Suffolk County in the crosshairs. It claims a pervasive climate of violence and hate directed toward undocumented immigrants and Latinos in Suffolk County. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Island Vote 2009 election special. I'm Judy Martin. For the next half hour, we'll be speaking with the one candidate running for the 4th Legislative District in Nassau County. It is always a special moment when a father sees his new baby for the first time.
But for a Long Island Marine, meeting his little girl has special significance.
The soldier's heartwarming homecoming almost didn't happen. News 12 Long Island's Lily Stolzberg is live and starting.
News 12, Long Island.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Martin in for Colleen McVeigh. A Hofstra student was tied up and gang raped, and cops say it happened right there on campus. They've made 4 arrests, but one of those attackers is still on the loose. News 12 Long Island's Christine Insiga is at Hofstra right now. Christine.
Judy.
All right, thank you, Christine. There may be a break in the case of a Yale medical student found murdered on the same day she was supposed to get married right here on Long Island. Authorities say investigators have identified a person of interest. Now, at the same time, the medical examiner says prosecutors ask that Annie Lay's autopsy results be withheld in order to facilitate the investigation. The 24-year-old disappeared a week ago. Her body was found inside a wall in the basement of a laboratory building on campus on Sunday. In the next half hour, what police say about the possibility of an imminent arrest. And the feds are now putting out a terror warning following raids conducted at several apartments in Queens. Yesterday, police and federal anti-terrorism agents searched several homes in this neighborhood here in Flushing. They were looking for explosives, possibly left behind by people with links to Al-Qaeda. Now, the search actually turned up nothing, but now federal officials have told local police departments to be on the lookout for any materials that could be used to build bombs. Iraqi insurgents fired mortars into the military-controlled Green Zone today. That just as Vice President Joe Biden was touring the area. The Vice President wasn't hurt. Biden's visit, which was not announced ahead of time, is aimed at improving the political climate in Iraq before American forces are pulled out of the country. A mother and daughter were trapped in their overturned SUV on the train tracks following a wild accident. Holly Hare explains what caused the crash in a story you saw first on 12. It took a few hours for workers to get that SUV off the tracks there and fix the damage. The LIRR was able to restore service before the evening rush. A former lawmaker who was thrown into prison for taking bribes has just been granted clemency. Governor Patterson announced yesterday he's commuted Wayne Prospect's sentence. The reason? The former legislator has terminal cancer. Patterson says Prospect will now be eligible for medical treatment he could not get behind bars. The 61-year-old started serving his 2.5 to 7.5 year sentence last October. Today, Long Islanders heading to the polls for primary elections. Now, one race pits Suffolk legislator Jay Schneiderman against former lawmaker George Gouldy. But Gouldy isn't just worried about winning this time around. He's facing criminal charges. News 12 Long Island's Jackie Lucas bringing us this Island Vote report from West Hampton. Jackie. And that leads us to our question of the day. Would you consider voting for a political candidate who's facing criminal charges? Log on to news12.com and let us know. We hope you had a real good taste of today's weather. Things are about to change. Bill Corbell over at the map right now with your hyper-local forecast. Bill, what are you going to do to us today?
Me, I'm not doing it. Hey, and Sunday, Judy, we're back to fair, cool weather.
All right, thank you, Bill. Heading to Blockbuster to rent that video, not so easy anymore, perhaps. The company's big announcement and what it's going to mean for folks who like to stay local to rent a flick. That's in business. And the new honor for this local college. That's next on News 12 Long Island, as local news gets. Hello and welcome to Long Island Talks, the show that lets you weigh in on the big stories of the day. I'm Judy Martin. A new budget for Nassau County, and considering the tough economic times, there could be a few tough cuts in county services. News 12 Long Island's Jill Wagner shows us what happened today in the budget battle. Now, Jill's got a lot more of NASA's budget on her blog. To read it, just head to news12.com and click on the blog's link. A new budget under some very difficult circumstances. 516-393-1800 is the number. LITalks at news12.com is the email. Let the games begin. Joining me now in the studio right now, Nassau legislator Wayne Wick is the vice chair of the Finance Committee and the legislative minority leader, Peter Schmidt.
Good
Welcome
evening.
to you both. Of course, once again, 516-393-1800. Call in and let us know what you think. All right. You know, we laugh about that, but this is really, these are serious economic times. Does this all hinge on the direction of the economy? I'm going to begin with you because obviously this particular budget did pass along partisan lines. What do you think, Wayne?
Well, Judy, obviously this is a very tight budget. We are still in the midst of a recession, and we need to continue making sure that we watch every dime that's being spent.
Okay, and Peter, obviously we're looking at a lot of variables, unknowns because of the economy. So what did you think about this? Obviously, once again, it's passed along partisan lines. You're not thrilled with it.
Well, we believe that the budget, the way it's been passed along partisan lines, unfortunately, is a Ponzi scheme. It's to get them past elections.
Okay, well, we're in an economy right now where something's got to be done. I mean, you got to get a budget passed. We had to do it now. That $75 million sounds different to me than the $13 million that the county is stating. So obviously, there's a discrepancy here and a disagreement. What do you have to say about
Well,
that?
more than most municipalities in this entire region.
Right, I hear what you're saying, but as you move forward, though, and I want to bring up this one point, 40% of the budget, of course, is based on that sales tax revenue. So let's just talk about that. I mean, that's a chunk of change, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, so let's take a look at consumer spending, what's happened. An interesting article in New Yorker Magazine entitled Inconspicuous Consumption, and it says, for all the uncertainty about the current state of the economy, everyone is sure of one thing: this recession has permanently remade American consumers. So I guess the question is, can Nassau County really depend on that sales tax revenue? And I know, Peter, you got a big issue with that, and I'll let you respond.
Well, no, I don't think. I think the county is much too reliant on the sales tax revenue because people, you know, they've already got a track record. The more you tax people, it says right in it, the 4-year plan and all financial policies contained within. And you know what they are? 4%, 3.9%.
Right, but that's going to be
Peter,
open.
come
Obviously,
on.
we have
Next 4
elections.
years.
Peter, we have elections coming. Things can change. Obviously, we're talking about the home
We hope
energy
so.
tax. Well, I'm just saying, we don't know what's going to happen after November 3rd.
And when Peter
So
was in
that
charge,
could change.
when Peter was in charge, the 4-year plan was written on the back of a napkin.
was
I mean,
never in
there was
charge.
never a 4-year plan prior to
Well,
prior
if you
to
go
the
to the
current
county
administration.
website, there is a 4-year plan.
Now there is,
but it is a
absolutely.
proposed plan.
Of
And
course
we
it
know
is,
things
right.
can change over the next couple of years. But let's just talk about the home energy tax. The
Terrible
fact
tax.
of the matter, pardon me?
It's a terrible tax.
Well, the fact of the matter is that the county executive says, hey, this is a temporary tax to get us through some lean times. And once again, after elections, I mean, I did about 20 debates here at News 12 with many of the Nassau County legislators, and a lot of them said, and a lot of the opponents said, hey, I'm going to repeal. So we really don't know what's going to happen after November 3rd. That could hurt the county budget, could it not?
It certainly can. It does blow a hole in that budget. I mean, just as
That's a big hole.
Just as after Election Day in 1999,
As you guys were debating the budget,
Right.
obviously because it's a partisan issue, a lot of those things did not get passed. But what were some of your suggestions, and were they really viable
Yeah, I'll tell you,
to lower
There is
costs and
viability wherever
spending?
there is a will. You know, we want to make some tough
No,
decisions.
I'm asking very specifically,
I'll give
though.
you specific
Okay.
answers. We want to, the county executive has added $24 million a year in salaries to patronage positions. We have a broken assessment system that we have been advocating to fix for the last 3 years that they've been ignoring.
Yeah,
It
but
cost this
that
county
assessment system's been around for a decade. I mean, I've been around for 20
$100
years
a
in Nassau
year
County,
in
Peter. and
refunds. It's
but it's
breaking
been
us.
around for a long time.
But
Yeah,
they
that-
haven't done anything to address it. It just continues.
I don't know.
And that costs us all of this money that goes out the door that we have to.
All right.
They've bonded it, but
All
there's
right,
a debt service.
I'll
that
take
has
you.
to
We're
be
going to come
paid.
back and talk about that in a minute because that is a huge issue for Nassau County taxpayers. It's one of the biggest things
Sure
they
it
complain
is.
about. We're going to come back in a minute and we'll talk more about that. 516-393-1800 is the number. We'll take your calls when we come back, though. Lighten up the phones.